Hello, and welcome to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. This D&D adventure, The Heretic, was written and run by your DM, Scott. And now, enjoy episode 486, titled, Is This My End, or Is There More Glory? Actual play begins immediately.
Hi, I'm your DM, Scott, for this D&D 5e adventure, The Heretic. And with me tonight, starting on my right, is...
I'm Tom. I'm playing Alder Rusha, a human male cleric of Amira, who is actually now a level 2 rogue.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm playing Marduk, a male half-orc fighter, graduate of the Academy, and new Fist of Amira, and a freshly minted Eldritch Knight.
I am Jim, playing Grodor, a hobgoblin warlock and one of the tired Fists of Amira, always searching for truth, knowledge, and, at the moment, the next fun city.
I'm John, playing Melody, a female human cleric, third of the Exemplar family. I'm an ex-ambassador turned political operative.
I'm Thomas. I'll be playing Gabrielle de Angelis. She's a female human paladin and a holy Fist of Amira, who, unbeknownst to herself, has made the first step on her path to choosing her oath.
All right. Where we left off last week was it has to be more of a bonfire or something on fire.
Something structural.
There's something going on. So what do you do?
I'm going to point it out to Grodor. Say, you didn't gather that much, did you?
I don't know if I can make a fire that big.
Grodor, you notice it, and you can tell that it's a relatively decent-sized blaze. And then the flickering as well lets you know that it's a fire, and it's probably not magical, because there's a give and take to it. There's a movement to it,
right,
that allows you to know that it's actual live fire.
We're guessing it's a couple hills away. I'm wondering how long would it take for us to get there? Just guessing.
10 to 15 minutes walk.
Do you think we should wake folk?
Yeah, I think we should, because if that's someone's home, there could be people that need help.
Yeah.
Or if somebody got attacked, and that could be their cart that's burning. So, Fist of Amira, let's see what's going on.
Okay. Then I'm going to go to wake Alder.
What? What's going on? Is it my shift?
No, we got trouble on the horizon.
On the horizon. Down the road?
Up the road, down the road.
It's not so much the road as the hill.
What's going on? Show me.
There's a fire up here.
Yeah. They show you, and there's a...
I get Gabs after that.
It's still burning. It's been maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and it's still burning fairly brightly. And there is a fire maybe 10 to 15 minute walk away over a couple hills.
Is it off into the woods, or is it off along the road?
It looks like it follows the road, although it's hard to really be sure where the exact glow is coming from.
Sure.
But it looks to be not in any of the woods around that you see on other hillocks in the area, but in the pathway it's being cut through the hills.
That's pretty far away, isn't it?
It's far away, but it's not pretty far away.
Just looks too big to be something not to worry about.
It's something that wouldn't take more than an hour round trip to investigate.
Can we make another survival check? Gabrielle's got eyes on it now, and so does Marduk.
Sure. I have no problem people making survival checks if they want to.
What are you trying to learn from it?
I might be able to recognize forest fire when you don't.
Yeah, that was my question, do we have a sense, is it a controlled fire, or is it something that looks like it's out of control?
It seems like it's cut along the pathway. Seems like intentional, maybe not controlled.
Gabrielle, you definitely think that it's on the road. In Grodor, you're fairly certain that it's not controlled. It burns bright, and then it dims a bit, and then burns bright again, and then dims. And right now it's in a dimming phase where it would be a lot harder to detect, as opposed to you were looking for it 3-4 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. But definitely there's fire.
Yeah, a fire along the road just makes me think that somebody got attacked on a caravan, so...
I grab my spear and say, who wants to go check it out with me?
I'm up.
Alder, I think you could help sneak over there. I don't know that we want to be seen quite yet.
Sure. I'm just debating. And he's looking at Gabrielle. If we should be...
her arm around.
Yes. Taking a bit of time preparing.
I'm intending to do that, yeah.
Horses, wagon, what are we doing? It's going to take them a while to put their armor on. I'm wearing leather.
Yeah. Same here. I'll do the horses.
Gabrielle's the one we need to be concerned about with her chain.
Well, Marduk, you have armor too, don't you?
Yeah, I have chainmail.
Chainmail. I'm sorry, Marduk, I did.
It'll take
All right, so while they're putting on their armor, we're hooking up the horses. We're not breaking down the camp. That takes too long.
Leave the wagon, take the horses, perform recon, we'll catch up.
There you go.
You three. Adios.
Okay. All right, so I'm taking a horse. Who's coming with me? I don't think we can put 3 people on this horse.
I'm not incredibly sneaky, but I am ready to go.
Mel?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
We ride the horses and attempt to get as close as possible.
Mel is on with Alder, correct? And Grodor is riding on his own.
Are we taking both horses?
I don't think all 3 of you can fit on one horse.
I really don't. I think Marduk and I are adept enough at athletics we can sprint the whole way.
Okay.
And if worse comes to worse, you send somebody back.
We ride.
Okay.
Orcs run everywhere.
All the damn time.
Stealth kind of out of the option.
Well, no, because what I intend to do is ride close enough that I can jump off and then stealth. Not close enough to draw attention.
Okay. As you travel the 2 hills distance between yourself and the fire seems to be on the far side of the second hill. As you get towards the top of the second hill, so you're just about ready to crest it and be hopefully what you think is coming face to face with what started this fire or what this fire is.
Right, but I would want to stop short of that so that if it is a battle.
You're on the lee side, if you will, of the hill. You're maybe halfway up and you stop, and then you're going to stealth your way to the top of the hill and peer over. And I'm assuming, Mel and Grodor, you are staying behind, not attempting to stealth as well, or are you attempting to stealth your way to the top?
I would like you to stay here, and I'll give you this signal or this signal, depending on whether you should come up and help me rescue people or, oh my God, it's someone who's attacking. Stay there, I'll be right back.
Right.
So go ahead and make a stealth roll, please, Alder.
Okay, I am casting guidance first, in case I have to be stealthier than I am being. And then I am...
Could I help you?
Rolling a 24. I'm not using my guidance yet.
You have to be able to explain how you'd help, and I don't know that when you can't stealth, how do you help a man stealth up a hill other than creating a distraction?
Right, I would say you'd have to have the same
way he just did with magic.
Oh yeah, that you could definitely do. But he seems self-assured and comfortable.
Okay. Right.
And he went to the top of the hill, and you are very stealthy. And what you see as you crest the hill, I'm going to assume pretty much on your belly, you see a cart overturned on its side to the north of the pathway that's leading deeper into the hills. The cart is on fire. There are several barrels that have tumbled off the cart when it turned onto its side, and they are broken. There's at least one other barrel that you see that looks like it's not broken. You continue to look and gather in because the fire makes thing pretty easy at this distance. The fire has died down, but it's still burning on the cart pretty brightly. At the back end of the cart, what looks to be a guardsman on the ground, not moving. Further on, in front of the cart, a little more north of the cart, though, so a little deeper into the area that's off the main south way, you see another body that's lying motionless. A little too far away to see if it's a guardsman or someone else, but another body that's completely motionless. Beyond that body, you see a horse lying on its side, motionless. And that's all you can see from the distance that you're currently at, looking down the hill. This is probably a good 100, 150 feet down the hill that you are able to pick up. And you're only able to pick it up in the darkness because of the firelight, the fact that the cart's aflame right now.
All right. I am untying my sword, so loosen it up. I'm giving the signal to Melody and Grodor, the one that says...
Approach?
Yes, we're approaching. and then I just start running down the hill as fast. I'm not stealthing anymore. And the whole way I am looking everywhere for who did this. I am concentrating on the individual that I saw first, who is a guardsman, just like that's where I'm heading towards. But as I'm running, I'm trying to see more. Anything, like who did this, where are they, what happened, are
While
they still
you
here?
run down the hill, make a perception check.
I roll 10, which isn't the highest, so I might as well use my plus a whopping one more for my guidance, so it's 11.
So you roll an 11, which is enough for you to see a stone archway. It goes over the road, so it's made of stones that are stacked up with mortar into an archway over the road. You've passed one or two of these during the day. They don't seem to signify much of anything you've been able to tell.
Kind of a mile marker type thing.
Maybe something along those lines. It's just a stone archway. You're able to pick that out further on, and then beyond the archway, it's darkness. And with you not having dark vision,
right,
you're not able to make out a ton of more information about what might be on the other side of that stone arch.
Especially with a fire in front of you.
Yeah, especially with a fire in front of you is right. Melody and Rodor, if you want, you can make your way to the top of the hill.
Yeah, I run up to the hill and try to take aim at whatever I assume we have spotted.
Without making a perception check, you can see pretty easily the same things that Alder was able to pick out, which was the cart, smaller than your cart. It's maybe 8 foot to 10 foot long. Yours is about 12 and it's covered. This is an 8-footer maybe and is not covered. You see the barrels that have fallen off of the cart. You see at least one body. Maybe you have time to pick out the second body and the horse. Same thing for you, Grodor. You're able to see actually a little clearer because of your dark vision. But that's the general idea. When you crest the hill, that's what you pick up.
Right. It's my attention then, because I could see Alder heading toward the guy at the rear of the cart.
Yes.
And there's somebody in the front, basically, of the cart-ish.
That is correct as well.
So I'm going to start heading in that direction.
Do we have an option to make a perception check? And maybe we should cut to our friends.
I'm going to say by the time that you get to the top of the hill and Alder's running down the hill, they have secured their armor and they are now jogging, if that's okay for me to assume that, Gabrielle and Marduk, you're starting to jog towards the light in the sky.
Okay.
Okay.
As I'm running towards this burning wagon, I'm trying to figure out if it's possible that these barrels are what were exploding and that this massive amount of fire is. Because if I'm heading towards it, I might be heading towards an extremely dangerous thing. So yes. I'm just rolling an investigation to say, hey, what the heck was causing all of this massive fire and explosions? And I rolled a 21 on my investigation.
You think that the fire was probably being fed by one of the barrels maybe catching fire?
And is there any danger of any of the barrels close to the fire that might be assumed coming another explosion?
There are two barrels that are close to the fire, but not close enough, you think, to catch fire within an immediate period of time. You think it's dangerous, but it's probably a calculated safe risk.
Well, my mental thought is it's more important to see if this individual could be saved. It doesn't seem too dangerous. Go. Type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimation. Without being able to see perfectly, I mean, the flames are kind of blocking some of the cart. Is there more barrels hidden inside the cart that you can't see? From what you can see, it seems as if it's safe. And the other barrels would not catch fire. But it also seems like the fire's toning down a bit at this point as well.
All right.
It's more maybe 4 or 5 feet off of the cart high, where you're sure before it was probably a good 10, 12 feet in the air to make the glow that it made that drew Mel's attention. So it's definitely not as a roaring flame like it was previously in your estimation with your investigation check.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we'll go to the next turn and just say that you can run down the rest of the hill, Alder. Go ahead and place your character where you want.
It's kind of clear from the picture that the body that's closest to me is dead.
Yeah, but in the darkness with the glow of the light from the burning wagon, probably not obvious until you actually get there.
Sure.
You see massive slash wounds on the body from what looks to be a large blade of some sort, and the individual is definitely dead.
Okay, then I will use my action to dash slightly to the north through 2 rocks and towards the other individual to determine whether or not they are dead.
The last body, it looked to be
Oh, it looked like I was almost cut in half.
a middle-aged man who was wearing leather armor. You noticed a sword nearby. It looked like some sort of guard. This body is wearing a cloak. You can't tell because it's face down whether or not the cloak hides armor. You don't see any apparent weapons, but you see blood splotches on the ground nearby. So it's a lot less obvious when you get to the body that it's dead. You're not sure.
I can use a bonus action to use a heal. I'm not going to. And I don't have an action where I can kind of roll them over and do a health check. I've pretty much finished.
Right. I think that's a fair turn at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that takes us to Mel and Grodor at the top of the hill. By doing a dash, you can make it about halfway down the hill. You see Alder looking at the bodies. You don't see him panicked. He's not making any motions towards you. He seems completely in the moment as a healer trying to help out. What do you guys do? Do you dash down the hill? Do you wait? What actions are you taking?
I'm not dashing down the hill as in like super fast. I'm letting the fighters go ahead of me.
Grodor, how far can you shoot that bolt?
I got an attack that I can do at 120.
That's pretty good. You might want to tell our allies what's up, and I'll get close.
Hold back, and she'll get closer.
Okay. And Mel, what do you do?
I'm going to take that double move dash down. I mean, Grodor can as well, but I just wanted to
keep pace with Grodor's
range.
Dash down, and you have the crossbow in your hands, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's clear from the way we came, and I'm keeping him covered and keeping an eye, since I'm on the hill, as to what's around it and if there's any movement or anything.
Okay. Takes us back to Marduk and Gabrielle, who are moving quickly. You're staying on the path, correct, as you move through the hills?
Correct.
Okay. You're making good progress. You're doing double moves. You're taking a dash action, I should say, not a double move, putting down some good distance. So, Alder, it's your turn.
Kneel down. Try to gently roll over this individual. And kind of looking, is the chest raising and lowering? Is there breathing going on here? How injured are they?
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Where's Brother Byron when I need him?
Yeah, for sure.
Holy mackerel, okay. I'm just going to roll really high numbers all day. I rolled a 19 plus 2, 21.
Okay. You can tell that this person is also dead. There are some slash wounds to the chest again. They're not wearing armor. So the slash wounds and the puddle of blood underneath the body are pretty substantial. This looks someone younger, brown hair, maybe in their early to mid 20s. Again, not armored, but wearing a type of logo on the cloak that they had on them.
All right. I was trying to see if I could tell that the slashes were related to the sword I saw on the ground, as if these two individuals were fighting. I rolled an 8 investigation. I'm obviously not putting it together quite well yet.
Right. No, you're not able to put it together because the wounds are so messy. Mm-hmm. And the blood is still fresh and still in some cases oozing out. So these bodies are very recently dead. Again, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and that's about the extent of it.
Any signs of life or reason to check on the horse?
You're probably too far away, Grodor, to make an estimation on the horse, but it's not moving.
Right.
And horses generally move. And you're not seeing any struggle. You're not seeing any fight at all. Uh-huh. It's just laying there.
It's just laying there still.
It is your and Mel's turn, Grodor. You can double move and get to the back of the cart, or you can move more slowly and cautiously if you'd like, but your decision.
I'm just looking for best place to cover the rest of the folks as they investigate.
As you can tell, there's some woods off to both the north and south of
I was thinking about
this pathway.
Like coming over here and climbing on this rock just to get a higher view. I'm looking at this arch like if somebody was hiding on the other side of it or in the crop of trees to the north or south of it, they could have attacked this cart. So I'm just warily scanning everywhere for any signs of who or what attacked this cart.
Right. You could double move to that spot and position yourself to be in support. So you're to the north of the roadway and you're giving support to Alder, who's turned over a body, and you see him shaking his head no to indicate that that person isn't alive as well. You can't really see past the arch except on the road itself. Well, actually, you can. With your angle from the north, you can see kind of to the south of the roadway past this arch that's blocking the view. You don't see anyone in that open area or the tree that's beyond to the south of the arch, but there certainly could be people hiding, like you said. That's nothing that you can see right now. Make a perception check. I shouldn't say nothing you can see because you do have dark vision. So go ahead and make a roll, and I'll let you know.
Perception. Made a 17.
Okay. Even though you rolled well, I'm just going to confirm that you're sure there's nobody hiding around that tree.
Where all there is in the cart is. That crop of trees on that side looks pretty clear.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay standing on this rock and covering as everybody else arrives and investigates.
Okay. Mel, double move to the end of the cart or something else?
I'm gonna double move and catch up to Alder.
Okay.
I have another health potion I stole from whoever I gave it to.
Yes. You're taking it out?
Yeah, he seems to be doing some medical things, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Since
as
we
soon
didn't
as
get time to rest, I don't know how much he has in him.
as soon as you pull it out and start moving it towards the individual, I hold out my hand and try to stop you, and they seem to be dead.
Okay.
Do you see anything around here? Blood trails, additional,
Mel,
Hell,
go ahead and
he-
make a perception check, please.
even crossbow shots. Maybe somebody shot a flaming arrow into this thing. Not sure what the heck went on.
Fireball?
The two individuals that are on the ground are dressed completely different. Is that not true? Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Natural 20, 24 total.
Okay. To answer Alder's question first, the two individuals are dressed somewhat similarly. There's a cloak on the individual who you're bending down next to right now, the younger individual with the brown, close-cropped hair. That person has an insignia on the cloak I mentioned. The other person is in actual leather armor, but just a quick glance shows you that the colors are similar.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see the same patch necessarily, especially with the investigation roll that you made, but it wouldn't be a stretch to think that they were both on the cart,
Right.
potentially. To Mel's roll of a natural 20 for a 24, by the way, you guys are rolling out of your asses tonight.
I know, right?
Mel, you could see large, bloody footprints facing away from the cart, walking away from the cart. Through the archway, and then they disappear from your view because of the angle that you're at, and the fact that the archway and the cart kind of block some of your view.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to point out the footprints, and I think I don't know. I think that's more than enough. We don't really need to check for flaming arrows at this point. We have a threat.
That takes us to Marduk and Gabrielle, who crest the first hill and start down the other side as they head towards the second hill.
Okay.
So getting closer. Alder, what do you do?
I do a quick stealth into the woods to the left of the archway,
To the north,
sneaking
right?
through. Yeah, to the north of it. And sneaking through to see if I can spot anybody on the other side of this small grove.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth roll. It's dim light, because the maiden and her sisters are out tonight. The moon and her 2 satellites. You get advantage on your roll.
Okay. I rolled 14.
Okay. You crawl into the woods there. There's some undergrowth. There's a large tree that's there as well, just to the north of the archway. So you kind of crouch down in the undergrowth. You look now past on the other side of the archway, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the east. And what you see is a Goliath male sitting down with its back against the rock. Alder, you've never seen a Goliath before. You've heard about them and read about them in books. But they are basically very tall humanoids, 7 to 8 feet tall, weighing 350. They live in the mountains. They often live in clans, in raid caravans, and they raid into the more civilized areas. And they can live as high as plus 20,000 feet if the peaks are large enough. They can live really high in the mountains, or they can live lower as well in hills and foothills. And it's solidly built. It's wearing hide armor that's reinforced in areas with oiled leather. It's completely bald, grayish skin, tattooed with strange symbols on its face. It's carrying a really large axe in one hand and has javelins coming off of what looks like to be almost like a quiver that's resting against its back. And there's large javelins that come off that quiver. It looks to you.
When you say it looks at me, it's looking in like directly at me?
Yeah. So he sees you kind of creeping up on him, and in a very low voice says,
"Is this my end? Or is there more glory that Rim has sent my way?"
And it shakes its head as if clearing cobwebs.
I respond.
And how do you respond?
I am not alone. And trust me when I say this is your end.
He puts his head back, almost like smacking it against the rock to rouse himself maybe, or keep himself conscious. You don't know. It's an odd maneuver, but he smacks his head against the back of the rock and says,
"Well, then come drink before we die."
And you notice then, past him, is one of the barrels from the cart. He reaches out with a hand and goes to open the stopper on it to open up the barrel. Let's go to Mel and Rodor. You saw Alder creeping into the woods. You thought he was pretty stealthy, but then you heard him talking to someone. So that kind of gets you on edge and get your heartbeat going. He's not yelling out a warning or screaming, but he's talking to someone. What do you do?
Grodor's glancing over at the hill like, where's reinforcements?
Right. Mel, what do you do?
I move enough that I can get beside Alder. Just raise the crossbow ready to fire, because he's calling for a murder.
Okay.
When I see you next to me, I whisper, "Is Gabrielle here yet? Where's Marduk?"
Stage left.
And Grodor, you move off the rock, closing about half the distance to Alder. You're still on the western side of the archway. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm moving closer, and I can see them kind of half in the trees or bushes here. Yeah. And I'm looking around the arch. Should I go through it? Should I go around to the north of it? And also, of course, glancing behind me, looking for my reinforcing buddies. But
yes.
Yeah, I'm looking for a good way to get a good line of sight at whoever they're talking to.
Okay. Because of the tree and the bushes, you don't have a really good line of sight from where you're at, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
You just heard the voice, and it was a deep voice, and it offered you a drink, or offered Alder a drink.
Right.
But that's all you've got at this point. Which takes us to Gabrielle and Marduk, who come halfway down the first hill now. You're on the back end of it and getting closer.
I whisper.
Man, I sure hope they remember to send the horse if there's an emergency.
Could we have sent the horse? I don't think the horse is that smart.
No, you guys talked about maybe going back, was what Gabrielle was saying. Like, if there's a bit of an emergency, someone would come back and get them with
Yeah, I did. Okay.
That's right. Contact with the enemy is never smooth, so that's just where we're at right now. Alder, if you're going to draw your sword and attack, we should go for initiative.
No. And my intent is to step out of the woods that I'm not hiding very well in.
To the east.
Right, moving slightly towards the east, towards him, about maybe 10 feet, which is getting pretty close to him.
Yes, that's uncomfortably close.
I am holding both of my hands in the air, nowhere near my sword, and speaking to him, which is, I would gladly take a drink with you, for I think combat is impressive and a ritual, and it seems to me that it's something that you consider important, and while it's likely to end with one of us dead, I would agree. However, you are holding a weapon in your hand. Mine is at my waist, and I'm still holding both of my hands up in the air as I'm trying to convince him that he might want to put it down just so I'm not freaking out or getting stabbed, because I have no idea the nature of these creatures, what they do.
He smiles widely, and when he does, and you're closer now, you're just 10 feet away in the moonlight, you can tell that he's older. He looks to be like you see smile lines around his eyes when he smiles to your comment. He says,
You may not have your weapon, but there's a crossbow trained on me right now. But let us drink.
And he takes his large axe and he slides it into his belt where there's a strap there that kind of catches it, and he reaches over towards his waist on the other side. He pulls out a couple mugs. He grabs the case with one hand and starts to pour a drink. Mel, go ahead. And Brodor.
Let's get our friends closer, other than putting down my crossbow.
Put it down, like literally
letting it go, or aiming it down at the ground. Not dropping it or anything.
And you stay the distance you're at?
Yeah.
Which is about, 15, 20 feet away?
Mm-hmm.
It's still next to the tree, the large tree trunk, directly north of the archway. Any words, or just...
No, I think I'm just trying to figure out what this creature is about.
You know that Goliath clans raid the South Way. Mostly out of the mountains, though, not as much out of the hills. This is a little bit rare that you're in the...
Yeah, and there's just one of them, and he's drunk, and he's challenging us to a fight. It's not usually... I mean, a raid is for resources.
Coordinated act, and they're vicious. These things can take out a group of Soul Guard.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely devastating in their attack. They're giants. They're medium-sized overall, and if we're speaking metagaming-wise. They're still counted as a medium.
Yeah, maybe under 10 feet, but medium size for the
Yeah, exactly. They're 7-8 foot tall and weighing 300 plus pounds. They're huge compared to you guys, and they cause all kinds of problems. Usually, this is the season for it, though, because winter's going, at least winter as far as winter is in Amira, is going to happen. And when you get higher up in those peaks, you can get some snow. So they need to fortify their camps before winter. So you know all this. This is all going through your mind as you're kind of piecing together what's going on here. This is a little bit far into the foothills for a raid. It's only one, and he seems like he's not acting completely normal. And that's what you're able to ascertain from your travels on the road and your history knowledge of the country of Amira itself and the various races that share it. Brodor?
If I moved somewhere, I could probably move like underneath the arch from where I'm at with my movement and be able to see who they're talking to and interact with them. So I'm going to stay where I am so I can do that if I need to. I'm far enough away where I feel like whoever they're talking to can't see me.
He probably can't see you because you can't see him.
Right. And I am standing there and I'm looking up the hill at our friends who are coming, ready to give them hand signals as to like, shut up, be quiet. I'm going to be relaying information, caution, and direction to our friends when they crest the hill.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. Melody, that is what you're going to do next turn?
I'm going to try it this turn.
Okay.
I'm going to mutter a prayer under my breath. Probably grab at the chain the soul shard is on, but pull it out a little bit more, and there's another emblem beneath that begins to glow. I mutter a prayer to Braylo, daughter of Amira and judge of mortals, to try to discern what this creature is undergoing, if there's any magical effects on it. What's going on with this guy?
You're able to know its hit point total.
It's true.
Its hit point total is 64.
Nice.
His emotional state is resigned. And then you have advantage on wisdom and charisma checks against him, right?
Until my concentration ends, yes.
Right, so you're concentrating on that.
He was smacking his head on stones and stuff. He's either drunk or there's some kind of magical shit going on, and that's what I was curious about that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, I'm sure that at this point, as close as you are, both you and Alder can make an investigation check now, please. And
part of the spell is to know whether it's under any magical effects, but it doesn't mention just...
It is not.
Okay. So, this is a mood. Gotcha.
So, Melody and Alder, please make a investigation check.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 12.
Okay.
I've rolled a 15.
Alder, you notice with your 12 that he's moving stiffly. You can't quite figure out why. It's still dark and hard to see, and his clothing is dark, and he has grayish skin, so it's a bunch of darks on top of each other, and it's very difficult to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Melody, from your angle, which is a little different than Alder's, you can see a couple of terrible wounds on the right side of his body, both where his abdomen is and where his upper legs, like his thigh area, but on the right-hand side of his body, not in front where Alder could have saw it facing straight forward. You see some bloody wounds that he's definitely hurting. We'll take another turn with Marduk and Gabrielle reaching the bottom of the first hill. They're getting closer now to the second hill and closer to the action, but they're still not there. No one from the current location can see them. And I think at this point, if there's going to be dialogue,
oh yeah,
we can have them catch up. Like, we'll say that you talk and ask him a few questions, but he grimaces and holds his side and breathes deeply, catches his breath, and mutters something in a language you don't understand. And then his eyes return to you, and at that point, when he finally is ready to talk again, after he pours the drinks, Gabrielle and Marduk can arrive. You've got Grodor giving you hand signals of, danger but not imminent. What do you tell them, Grodor, in your own words?
Caution, silence, and come over here and hush.
Right. So you can put yourself into position if you want.
Are we rolling for initiative, or?
Not yet.
And I'm guessing when they get close enough, they can hear the voices, and I'm just going to quickly fill them in that there's an enemy on the other side of this arch, and Alder's talking to him. Be cautious, be ready.
All right, since it took him a while to go from the bottom of the hill to the top and then to here, I would like to move at least 5 feet closer, take one of the cups, and talk to him and say, "My name is Alder.
I am Lokag, soon to be shunned. Anakalalithi."
I hold out the cup as if to tap them together. Cheers.
Yes. He smacks his mug against yours and drinks deeply.
As do I. I'm afraid that it's kind of my job to protect, and I wave my hand backwards. So, as much as I'd like to avoid battle, you seem like a great warrior. I am curious on why you're alone and why you chose to head towards death. Would you like to share with me what's going on? I'm trying to persuade him into...
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Kind of fill me in on what the heck's going on, and I rolled a natural 20 for 24.
Yeah, you did.
I'm a social creature. Alder talks very well to people.
I am 70 seasons, and in our clan, when we can no longer contribute the same strength, courage, and usefulness to the clan, we are shunned. and we leave our clan and survive as best we can in the world until it is time to meet Thrym and pass on to the afterlife.
So it is a good day to die for you.
Today is a good day. I must be honest, I didn't think today would be the day. But the guardsman was quicker than me. His sword fell true several times. It is a good day to meet Thrym.
And he takes another swig from his wine.
As do I. I glance over at Melody.
Marduk, are you moving any closer?
I can. I just wasn't sure if it was my turn yet to move.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. We're kind of free-forming it right now. My bad.
Okay.
Free-forming it. Just move where you
While
want.
they're talking, you can kind of just prepare and go where you need to.
Gabrielle and Grodor both pulled up closer to the arch while they were talking. But
I can't see any of you, which is why I'm glancing over at Melody to see if she's giving me an indication of...
Yeah, 3 fingers go up and point into the woods.
So basically go time soon. I take a final swig, emptying the cup and toss it aside. I pull my sword and I'm making it clear I am not stabbing him, but I am holding it up almost like a salute in front of me.
He takes his last swig, since it's time, and he groans and he stands up. He says,
Alder, son of Amira, it was good to meet you and share wine.
Indeed, I agree.
But now, I think it is time to see what the gods have in store.
I salute with my blade. I actually take a step backwards, allowing him to stand.
So he stands and pulls out his great axe. I believe it's a great axe. Let me double check that.
I take another step backwards.
Yes, it is a great axe. He says,
None else of your companions wish to drink? Drink to Amira? Drink to Thrym?
go ahead and make a religion check, anyone who wants to.
I probably know a decent amount of religion.
It just sounds like something that I might know too, so...
Today's an 11 for Melody.
And I rolled a 21. Apparently I just rolled 20s today.
Wow.
Grodor
You
got a
all rolled
17.
relatively well. 17 for Grodor, 18 for Gabrielle, 14 for Marduk, 21 for Alder, and Melody, her 11 is even strong enough. So you've all heard of Thrym. Thrym is a giant god of battle, commonly worshipped by frost giants. Not unusual that a Goliath would worship Thrym. Just makes perfect sense, especially since they live in the mountains and the colder climes as well. He asks if anyone else wishes to drink with him on his day to die.
Would I then have to fight you as well? I don't know that I would want to take that from you.
It is an honor to drink with those who will take your life. Battle is an honor. I would not mind drinking with any other of you that wish to drink with me. A toast to Amira, a toast to Thrym, and let the battle fall where it may.
Gabrielle, are you within visual distance of this guy at the moment, or are you kind of hide under the arch?
That's a very good question.
Because if you're hiding, I whisper in your ear, do you want to be invisible?
No. I'll take a drink.
I'm going to come over.
Melody will join for that.
Okay.
While we drink, why don't you tell me, what was your best battle? The one you still think about. Surely you have time to reminisce before your final battle.
I do.
And then she gets herself a mug.
I thought the fires from the heart would attract the war eagles, but it seems my fate is with the sword and not the claw.
War eagles are very well known in Amira. The war eagles are based out of the city of Iron Sword, and they patrol the mountain passes quite a bit. You haven't seen any yet because you're just kind of getting into them, but the war eagles would be what he's referring to when he says he thought his end was going to be the war eagles.
Are they mounted on eagles?
Yes, Soul Guard mounted on the war eagles. He introduces himself to each of you who come to drink wine with him. He introduces himself as
Lokag, soon to be shunned. Anna Halathai.
Gabrielle.
is his full name. when he refers to himself in conversation, he just calls himself soon to be shunned.
Mm-hmm.
He recounts a battle where he led his clan of Goliaths against a grouping of Soul Guard who were protecting a caravan of fine wines and beers from a local vineyard. And the battle was just chaotic. 3 of his fellows, Goliaths, fell that day, but they took down 20 Soul Guard and raided the caravan, and it provided them with mead and wine for almost a full year. There was so much bounty from that raid. So that's the battle that he remembers the most from his years of leading his clan.
You were the leader. Really shun you.
It's the way of the Goliaths.
I find it a bit sad that even your most enchanting story is still misery to my nation.
It is a shame that we raid your caravans, but it is our way. And it is your way to end that threat. I don't begrudge you that. It is my time to see Thrym. It is my time to have his blessing be upon me. We might have been enemies, but it doesn't mean that in a moment before battle, we couldn't share a drink.
And she raises her glass.
He raises his.
So after everyone drinks, I say, Lokai, it is my honor and the honor of my friends to make you see Thrym. If you are ready,
I am ready.
let us do this battle.
And that's where we'll end it for tonight, on a cliffhanger, and we'll pick up with the battle, starting with next week's episode. Great job, everyone. Thank you for the role-playing and the... it wasn't any battle tonight, but there was good role-playing.
And
so
all the
I certainly
20s.
appreciate that. All the 20s, yeah, that were rolled tonight. I want to appreciate our fans who listen, all our listeners. So thank you very much for joining us for this episode, and be sure to come back next week for what will prove to be, hopefully, a very challenging battle. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. If you'd like to send us a question, comment, or feedback, you can reach us in a number of ways, including Twitter at KOTN_podcast or by emailing us at feedback@KOTNpodcast.com. And don't forget the iTunes reviews. We also have a Facebook page which can be found at facebook.com/KOTN.podcast. While on Facebook, you can join like-minded folks at our fan page at facebook.com/groups/KOTN-fan. And lastly, there's our blog at KOTNpodcast.com, where there's an Amazon link on the right-hand side. For those of you who'd like a more steady way to help us pay the bills, or if you live outside the U.S., you can help by donating to our Patreon page at patreon.com/KOTN. And please remember to join us next week for more mystery and adventure. I'm going to take a moment and put this in the outtakes. Listeners, if you're hearing a baby cry, I apologize. It is my first grandchild ever who's spending the night tonight so that my daughter and her husband can rest, and we'll try to edit it out, but moving on. I'm trying to figure out. I am trying to make a narrative. How injured is they? How injured are they? Thomas, you must be on mute all night because I can't hear.
Yeah, I'm being pretty careful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't hear Arlo at all.
I haven't heard a peep.
He's definitely got some cramping going on.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
When I do hear him, at first it sounded like a cat.
Oh, I can definitely hear it.
When he said seasons, he means years. I just don't want to say years because that's just a archaic term that I think it's better to say seasons. But I am 70 seasons.
Shit, we could have flown?
No,
Well, the War Eagles are based out of Iron Sword. You were in Temerity, so
Yeah, all right.
it would have been difficult to allow that.
It's a damn Lord of the Rings thing.
Right, that's what was in my mind.
Right.
Yep.
Other possible titles for this episode available for voting on the Facebook fan page were Orcs Run Everywhere, A Good Day to Die for You, Let Us Drink, I Don't Know If I Can Make a Fire That Big, I'm a Social Creature, or Braylo, Daughter of Amira.